Hi everyone, welcome to Storytime for the week. Today we're going to tell the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. So you can see on the board here, I've got the words fee, fi, fo, fum. And those are going to be repeated throughout the story. And we'll talk about those in a little bit. But what I want you to do now is if you have at home rhythm sticks, go ahead and grab them now. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can grab silverware or wooden spoons or real sticks, or even just use your hands, because we're going to need that for a song later on, okay? So go grab those now if you have them. But we do need to do our hello song first before we get into our story. And so remember, it goes, hello friends, hello friends, hello friends. It's time to say hello. Ready? Hello friends, hello friends, hello friends. It's time to say hello. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to use my rhythm stick as a pointer even for this. So I told you all that we are going to repeat the words fee, fi, fo, fum all throughout this story. Now, all of these words start with the same letter. Does anybody know what that is? Makes the sound like frozen. It's the F. And then we're just changing the end sound of the word. So we've got the E, just like the letter E, the I, just like the letter I, the O, like the letter O, and the like I'm thinking really hard. So go ahead and say that with me. We're going to go fee, fi, fo, fum. Okay? And so whenever we get to that point in the story, I want you guys at home to go ahead and say it out loud with me. But the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Jack, and he lived with his mom in a little cottage out in the country. Now, Jack and his mom did not have much money. And one day, their cow stopped making milk. And they couldn't afford to keep her anymore if she wasn't making any milk for them to sell. So Jack's mom told him that he needed to take her to the market and sell her so that they could buy bread. Well, Jack was very sad about this because he liked his cow oh so very much. So on his way to sell her, he stopped at the side of the road, was talking to her, when a traveling man came by. And he took one look at Jack's cow and said, "That cow is magnificent. What would you take for her?" Now Jack, who was told that they should accept nothing less than 5 pieces of silver, told the traveler this. The traveler told Jack that he didn't have any money with him, but he did have some magic beans. Now, Jack wasn't so sure about this. Magic beans sounded a little suspect to him, but the traveler told him, oh yes, they really are magic, and they are worth far more than 5 pieces of silver. So Jack traded the cow for the beans and went home to his mother. When he told his mother what he had done, she was so upset with him. How are we going to eat, Jack? We needed that money to buy bread. These beans won't feed us. So Jack went to bed hungry, and his mom threw the beans out the window. Jack went to bed. He was pretty hungry, and that's no fun way to go to bed. Nobody wants to go to bed hungry. But when he woke up, he saw that a giant beanstalk had sprouted from the ground where his beans had landed. Now, Jack was a very adventurous boy, so he took one look at that beanstalk and he decided to climb all the way up to the top of it. It went so high that it touched the clouds. And once Jack got to the top of it, there we go, he saw a castle. Well, it's not every day that you climb up a magic beanstalk and find a castle in the clouds. So Jack decided that he was going to go inside. When he went in, he saw the castle was home to a giant. Now, this giant did not look like a very nice giant to Jack, but his castle was full of magical things and gold and treasure everywhere. Well, Jack went in just a little further and saw that the giant was sitting in his dining room, and he had with him a chicken. Now, this was no ordinary chicken. As the giant was petting this chicken, Jack saw it lay 3 golden eggs. Jack couldn't believe his eyes, so he went even closer to get a look. But that's when the giant sniffed the air. He said, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman." The giant could smell Jack. He said, "I can smell whoever you are in my castle. You better run or I'm going to eat you up." Well, Jack thought about running right then because he didn't want to be eaten. But he also really wanted those golden eggs so that he could bring them to his mother and make her happy again. So he waited until the giant fell asleep. And once the giant had dozed off, Jack grabbed the chicken that was laying the golden eggs and hurried back down the beanstalk. Well, Jack's mother was very happy that he had brought her a chicken that laid golden eggs. "This is wonderful, Jack. We can afford to buy bread now." And so Jack and his mom were very happy that they had a fancy magical chicken that laid them golden eggs. But golden eggs don't come all the time. And soon what they had gotten for those golden eggs was gone. And Jack, looking at their house, saw that it needed a new roof. They didn't have the money to buy a new roof just yet. So Jack thought and thought, and he decided to climb up the beanstalk once more. So up, high up into the clouds Jack climbed, and into the castle he went. When he went into the castle this time, he saw the giant counting bags and bags of gold. Wow, he won't miss just one bag, Jack thought. So he crept in and went to take one of the bags. But the giant smelled him again. He said, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. I remember you. You're the thief that stole my chicken." Well, Jack hid at this. He didn't want that giant to catch him and eat him up. And eventually, the giant got tired of looking for him and fell asleep. So, What does Jack do, guys? He's going to take that sack of gold and climb all the way back down the beanstalk with it and give it to his mother. Well, she was so happy to have that gold so that they could afford to fix the hole in the roof and maybe even get her some new pots and pans for the kitchen and a nice warm blanket. But money doesn't last forever. And Jack and his mom this time had bought a lot of stuff. They thought the gold would go a lot farther than it did. And they got used to having some pretty nice things in their house. So Jack decided to climb up the beanstalk one more time. In he went into the castle. This time, Jack saw that the giant was sitting listening to a magical harp that could play itself. Well, Jack thought a harp like that is worth a fortune. He and his mom would have all the gold they could ever need. But the giant smelled him again. What does he say, guys? He says, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. I know you, thief. You've been here twice and you've taken my gold and you've taken my gold-laying chicken and you are not getting away from me this time." Well, Jack figured the giant would fall asleep just like he had the last few times. So he waited and waited until the giant laid down and went to sleep. And Jack went to get the magical golden harp. But the giant was just pretending to be asleep. He was actually awake the whole time waiting for Jack to come out. "Now I've got you," he cried, and started coming down the beanstalk after Jack. Well, Jack had had a lot of practice climbing this beanstalk now. He was very quick at it. So he hurried down the beanstalk and he grabbed an axe and he went chop, chop, chop to the beanstalk. And what happened, guys? The beanstalk came crashing down. Oh, the giant came crashing down with him. Well, that was the end of the giant, and that was the end of the magic beanstalk. But Jack and his mom now had a magical harp and a goose that laid golden eggs. So once they had sold the harp, they decided they were going to save that money for when they really needed it. And that was a great plan because they never went hungry and they never had to worry about having enough money ever again. They just lived a nice, simple life in their farmhouse and they were very, very happy. The end. All right. Well, I hope you guys liked that story. And I hope you had fun going along with me saying the fee, fi, fo, fum. It's one of my favorite parts of the story. But we're going to do a fun, quick song. Remember I had you get your sticks? This is where we're going to use them. And we are going to go, some of you might know this, it's going to be a chant. It's going to go bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Tap your sticks as, and then I'm going to tell you a certain way to tap the sticks, and you are going to have to follow along. Got it? And if you have hands, you can do the same thing. Just clap your hands right along with, okay? So instead of tapping sticks or spoons or what have you, you can just clap your hands. So, bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Tap your sticks as fast as you can. Tap really, really fast, guys, as fast as you can. Awesome. Way to go. Okay, let's do it again. Are you guys ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Tap your sticks as slow as you can. Tap them super slow, guys. See how slow you can make them move. Oh, it's really slow. Okay, ready for next round? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Tap your sticks as quiet as you can. See how quiet you can make your sticks tap. See if they can make no sound at all. Awesome job, guys. Okay, last one. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Tap your sticks as loud as you can. Tap them really hard. Make a lot of noise, guys. Careful, but see how loud you can make them. Whew. I don't know about you guys, but that was pretty loud. Well, that is about all the time we have today for story time. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me and for listening along to the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. And now we are going to do our goodbye song. Remember, it goes, goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Ready? Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Bye, everybody.